Don't bet on college football this weekend without watching this video. I'm Joe DeLeone here at the Sports Geek. We're going to be doing game picks every single Thursday for college football. And once NFL starts, we're going to be doing that as well. And I've got 4 for you that we are going to be breaking down today. We went 1-1 last week for week 0. We ended up getting the under thanks to that adjustment on Hansen ended up being down at the 1-yard line. We just barely got it, but Kansas State did not cover. The first pick that I really like this week, and this is the one that I've been pushing for some time now, I really like Texas money line against Ohio State. We're looking at 2 teams that there is some resetting. Both these squads are bringing in a lot of new faces with former high 4 stars and 5 stars stepping up into those spots. But there are a couple of areas that I think we need to acknowledge are really hard to figure out and feel out in the first game of the season. Ohio State has 2 brand new coordinators. They have a redshirt freshman quarterback in Julian Sayin, who I think is going to be tremendous, but I think that this game is going to be just like how CJ Stroud lost to Oregon in his first year as a starter and then went on to have a prolific career. They also have a completely new running back room, and the interior of their defensive line has been acknowledged by the coaching staff as a weakness for them. On the flip side, Texas might be going through some changes on their O-line, but their running back room is stupid explosive. Cedric Baxter comes back from an injury. Their wide receiver room has juice. Their defensive line is comically deep to the point where people this offseason were referencing how Texas keeps stealing defensive linemen in the transfer portal. Colin Simmons, Trey Moore are great defensive ends, and this overall squad has what it takes to win this game. I think also I trust Arch Manning. I think that this is going to be the beginning of us talking about him as the best quarterback, if not at least a top 3 quarterback in college football. The next pick that I like, South Carolina, -7.5 against Virginia Tech. Beamer is going to face the program that his father coached, where he grew up, all of that great stuff. And while I'm sure that Beamer, knowing who he is, wants to be able to prove that he is now this great big coach that he's past Virginia Tech, the talent on the field is vastly different. This should be a much bigger spread than it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people don't start betting this and this doesn't end up moving. But we see a situation where you've got a top 3 defensive end in Dylan Stewart, you have a top 3 quarterback in Lenore Sellers, and you have a really gifted secondary on this South Carolina team going up against a Virginia Tech team that lost all of its top defenders to the transfer portal or to the NFL draft. They also lost their best offensive lineman in Xavier Chaplin. I think that this is going to be a really rocky road for Virginia Tech this year, and that we're going to see Pry fired by the end of the season, sadly. But this is going to be a game where, even though it's at home, we're going to see South Carolina handedly run all over them. The next game that I am very much in favor of, Auburn -2.5 against Baylor on Friday night. There's a lot of hype for Baylor this season, and I understand it. I am for it. I love Sawyer Robertson. They have a great receiver room. They've got a good running back room. But my problem is that they do not match up with Auburn along the lines of scrimmage. The core tenet that I will always talk about when I place bets on football is who has the advantage along the lines of scrimmage. You need to have prolific level playmakers to make up for not having the top guys on your offensive and defensive lines in said matchup. Keldrick Falk is a guy who's going to be a top 15 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Connor Lew is the best center in college football. Xavier Chaplin, who is going to be playing tackle for them, transferred in and is one of the better offensive linemen in college football and will probably be a top 50 pick in the upcoming draft as well. Auburn's O-line and D-line is vastly better than this Big 12 squad, and it is going to show up early. They will be able to win this game by at least a touchdown. The last one that I really, really like, Utah, -5.5 on the road going to UCLA. I don't like this UCLA roster. I think that they are very middling. There's a couple of quality players, but they didn't do as much as other teams around them did in order to improve. They did the bare minimum, it felt like. Now, they, of course, got Nico, who was very dramatic about his transition from Tennessee to UCLA. We're not going to relitigate that situation. They got better at quarterback. They got a 5-star guy that has premier talent and could take over a game. But I think that it is a lot to ask for Nico to be able to, right off the bat, in his first game, no spring, all of the distractions and drama that came with his transition from Tennessee to UCLA, all of that. It is a lot to ask for him to be ready to go and to be mistake-free. He was a player who we were talking about when he was still at Tennessee, needing to show signs of improvement in his decision-making, in his aggressiveness, all of those things. I don't see a world where a guy like that is going to be ready to go. I think, Nico, there's redeemability by the end of the season, but not in week one against a Utah team and a Utah defense led by Lander Barton that is very underrated, it's very hard-nosed, and is very physical. Most importantly, I really like Devin Dampier. I like how this is the light version of John Mateer, where Mateer went to Oklahoma and brought his offensive coordinator. The same thing happens with Dampier, who is a very dynamic runner. I am very excited about this Utah offensive line. And I think that this season starts off with Utah getting a 7-point or more victory. That, to me, is so important for this conversation. Folks, I want you to comment below. What games are you betting on this week? What games do you like the most? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to get back to you, give you a little bit of feedback. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. It is going to be a fantastic college football season.